Yeah, so that's actually a longer story because I was always involved since I was little in NGOs. So since the fifth grade, I was involved in NGOs, trying to give something back. And when I arrived at university, so I finished automatics and computer science. It's actually funny that most of our team in Innovation Labs finished automatics and computer science. And I came to university and I joined the first thing on the table. It was a student NGO. That was in 2012. And after 2 years, I was actually part of that NGO, did actually graphic design, so something very different, and PR, so communication and PR. And in 2014, I was contacted by the current project manager for Innovation Labs, which was also part of the NGO which I was part of. He recommended me on the position for communication and brand director. And I actually met with Daniel and with Răzvan in a student pub, actually. And that was in 2014. I was also a student of Daniel Rosner in his first class teaching electronics. It was very, very funny. So a long time ago, he was very different. I think I wouldn't have had the interview if I wouldn't have passed his exam. I passed it with an 8, which is huge if you ask him right now. And I met with them and discussed with them, told them about my experience in the NGO. I was also working in different jobs. I tried a bit of everything. So I tried marketing, I tried HR. So I was working with HP at that point in employee engagement, even though it had no connection with what I was doing, but it was very interesting. And I got into the Innovation Labs team at that point. The team was quite small. So Răzvan and Andrei were super hands-on. Daniel, of course, was super hands-on. And yeah, the goal was to build the brand of Innovation Labs. I had a lot of experience in graphic design and branding from the NGO, doing this with less money. So that was the idea back in the days. And yeah, we changed the brand. We tried to do a lot of things to attract students, to promotions and so on. And yes, I heard of Innovation Labs, just following up on your question, since I was in the first year of university. Because all of the small NGO communities are quite connected. So we know whose posters are where. Yeah, that's how I got acquainted, and that was 2014. And yeah, since then I had the pleasure to see the program grow and be part of this core team that under the reach of Andrei and Răzvan grew so much. Actually, it fit a lot back then with what I was trying to do with my career. So I chose quite early in the fifth grade actually to move towards informatics and mathematics. So I liked a lot this, but my parents always told me that I'm also made for something else. I never knew what it was, but when I actually touched for the first time this graphic design and saw how products are built in Innovation Labs and how the educational system actually can enhance through programs such as this, I actually saw a career for me in product. So, and I think that this was essential, and this is essential at the moment, that students in not only in automatics and computer science, but all of the technical sciences and also moving forward from that, like medical and so on, need to see how things are built, because we all interact at the moment with finalized products that work, but we don't know what the process is. And in Innovation Labs, in the first year, seeing the curricula of the program, I actually attended all of the tech talks since my first year in Innovation Labs. I only miss them if I'm not in the country. I'm still attending them. We just had one on Tuesday with a panel of investors. And of course, I'm going there because that's every year is different, of course. We have different guests, but the same curricula. And I think this was what kept me here and what kept me to tell everyone that they should come. And maybe to finalize with that, how I made people come here. So I was in good relationships with all of the NGOs. Of course, I was an alumni there. I did a lot of events there with the students. And actually now in the team, as part of also the younger generation that took over my role and Daniel's role and so on, they're part of this NGO, which is called BEST, Board of European Students of Technology. They're part of that NGO. So we brought each other out of that because we saw the involvement. Every one of them was a volunteer in Innovation Labs because I brought them, I sent messages and so on. So I think this is what it means. And one of the things that I saw here is that once you see an event and the energy and how people are actually coming there to have fun, to be passionate about what they do, makes them stick around. And this is how our community actually grows organically, because you cannot let go of, once you go Innovation Labs, you can definitely not go back out of that. It's an amazing thing what is happening in Innovation Labs, and always what we fostered inside a team. And of course, what Andrei and Răzvan fostered from the very beginning is that the people in the team, once they get in the team and they prove that they can do things, they can do anything. So all of the things, all of the ideas that you have, no one tells you not to implement them. Of course, you need to present them, you need to say how you will implement them. But it was never a time in Innovation Labs, also with our crazy ideas, because Andrei taught us to be crazy about ideas and think big. No one said, no, don't do that. Everyone said, do exactly that. Let's see how it goes. Let's learn from it. So this culture of a startup, actually, that empowers each individual in the team. This is what makes everyone stay. So, and the fact that we're not a flat organization, we're not even an organization, but there was never the feeling that you had a boss or you had to do what the older person says. No, it was always a fight, a debate. Okay, I disagree, but maybe we try something else. And yeah, this is how we got to also having a bigger team, also a national team with the NGOs from the different cities, and to collaborate with universities and so on, due to this openness to the new, and the fact that I felt from the very beginning we weren't building a franchise. We were building something that is adapted by the needs of the current ecosystem. So this is how Innovation Labs grew or extended in different cities, by adapting to the users there. So across this last 9 years, since I also changed a lot and I grew with the program, of course we grew in numbers. We grew in quality, we grew in the quality of the startups that exit or move forward after the program, and we definitely grew in influence over the whole community. So I think the influence is what grew the most. Now, what I saw as differences, we couldn't have predicted what happened with COVID, for example. So I think the biggest switch, so I think it was quite stable in terms of how things went, how events went from 2014, since I joined, until the COVID pandemic. But then I think we had a mind switch of how we handle things, and also the whole planet had a mind switch. And we are still seeing it this year very much, and that is one of the differences that I see being part of so many offline Innovation Labs events, and now with, again, offline events, there's a big difference. Now also I believe that the new generation chooses to be here. And this choice, this involvement that they have is quite different than in the past. So maybe they came out of curiosity before. Now they do come as a choice, and I think this growth of entrepreneurship and the ecosystem in Romania makes everyone want to try and compete against it. Innovation Labs is not a competition, but it does feel like that when you are part of the crowd, and they are more. They give more feedback. So this is a big difference. So across the years, people got more outspoken. They give more feedback. They say what they need. And part of the customer development part that we teach them actually got them to a point where they are actually our customers and give us feedback. And this is maybe the first year where I got so many feedback, maybe also because we asked it and so on much more and met them offline and so on. But this is the switch and the growth that the program has made in people. They're different. And they're very, very involved. So they're not the children that were there before the pandemic or during the pandemic when we had to change everything. Also, that was quite difficult for us. We thought, the first thought was that there will be no more innovation labs. We never did it online. We never managed this whole program online. What are we gonna do? How much time is it gonna take? What will it mean for us? But I think it went well, and I think it was a lesson for all of us that things that matter move on, even with all of the downsides that we had and the things that we need to change. So we had, like, during the night calls, how are we gonna organize Boost Day? We need 2 rooms with Zoom, with other MCs. We need to teach people to share. How do we do Q&A? So all of the technical topics, we had to move them to digital. And even though during the events, it felt like we were doing that for I don't know how many years, that was not true. We were extraordinarily panicked as the rest of the world was moving into and creating new habits of doing events. And we had so many events per week, and with high stakes. So the juries, the partners, everyone needed to be there. We still had to get the money out of them for the events that they actually signed the contracts for. So, but I think it went very well. And the teams at that point were very receptive. So I think everyone was so involved into making it good that we made it until this year where we could get back to what it was. Now I say it's funny, but I was actually with Daniel in Cluj at our last hackathon. So there were the hackathons in Iași, Cluj, Sibiu and Timișoara in the same time. And I was at Cluj, it was a Sunday. We just announced the teams that entered the program, and I just got into the news and I was like, Daniel, they're shutting everything down. And we were like, okay, tomorrow we have onboarding for the teams. The day after the next, we have the first tech talk. What will we do? We did the first tech talk offline, but then they shut it down completely. So we had 5 days to move everything to online. And to also help the local communities actually do this in the same time. So we had 65 teams at that point, 65, and in 5 cities in the same time. But it went well. I think we are quite logical. So we are, all of the team, we are very good under stress. So we are people that don't get panicked easily because we organize events. And therefore, problems for us are just opportunities to solve them. So I think this mentality is crucial for us. Otherwise, we would never have stuck with innovation labs. So yeah. It was actually part of various of our discussions around the communication of innovation labs and what were the biggest obstacles for us to push forward entrepreneurship into students' minds. So and we saw there, based on our interviews, we also had a sociological study that actually showed us what's the impact of innovation labs, what could hold us back and what not. And one of the big topics is that the parents of the students say, you know, you're going to this university in tech, you can get a very nice job in a corporation. Why would you go and make your own company? And then we thought, Okay, we have all of our events in English. No one understands us, basically. Of course, we're Silicon Valley level, surely. But how do we actually communicate to the people that influence these young minds that we are trying to influence? Because they're coming out of somewhere. And that's why we took the decision to be more open, especially with the demo days, who actually are shows. So they were shows from the very beginning. There are pitches. We had a lot of fun stuff on stage, but we wanted to be elitist. So we didn't invite people. We realized that that's not the way to go, because we need to make this accessible for everyone. And even though not everyone will become an entrepreneur, the rest of the people should support these guys. You know, it should be fun to be seen on stage, because it's a big thing. I mean, for a student that is 21 years old to get on the stage with 600 people in the audience and pitch an idea in 2 minutes, then answer 2 minutes of questions. This is a big deal. People need to know that it is a big deal to get on that stage. And whomever didn't get on a stage in their life, even with 20 people, they don't know, but they need to see. And this was the first thing that we completely switched. We didn't know what we were going to do with Demo Day. We wanted to make it in May first, so we didn't know. Then extended it, wanted to do in summer, still closed everything. Then we did it in October. And during summer, we had an ideation session. Actually, we were in the botanical gardens of Bucharest, because it was the only place where we could meet, actually, because it was open air. And we were discussing, okay, what are we gonna do? Online with Zoom, impossible. That's ugly. We don't need to do that. Everyone, I mean, it's not ugly, but everyone does it. And what will we do? Okay, what is open at this point? Televisions. Okay, should we hold it in a television? No. What else does it exist? Studios. Oh, nice. Who do we know? And we started calling. We found a studio that could do this. And of course, we told the idea to Andrei. We had many limitations in terms of people that could go there, preparations, and so on. And Andrei said, oh, we're going to make it exactly like a show. And whom to bring? Pavel Bartosz, of course. For us, it was like, seems like a good idea, right? I mean, it's going to be fully online. It needs to be a show, look like a show. And this was the first one. Then we did it offline, but still online. And now, also now with the demo day for this year, we're switching up a bit. We want to focus more, as I said at the gala event, we want to focus more on putting the community first. We have so many amazing people, of course, in the community supporting us. And my view and Daniel's view is that we need to bring them on stage. And that is from all parts of the community. So we do have the pitchers, we do have the partners, we do have the mentors. We need to also have our team, because our team is quite essential. And yeah, we need to have the press. And therefore, it's gonna be a very interesting demo day, not moderated by only 2 people now, but around 10. So, and we're gonna make it a show, but like a theater in many acts, so that it fits the people actually presenting it. So yeah, coming up with new ideas, it is indeed difficult, but we do like in Innovation Labs to do things for the first time. Also, this gala event, it was the first time we organized the gala and at the opera. And for us as techies at the base and very logical people, it was very interesting to collaborate with people from that ecosystem and actually involve the orchestra and so on and so forth. So we like challenges a lot, and yeah, we put them on our table to solve. On one side, for me, it means what I want to do further on in my career, not only like being part of the organizing of Innovation Labs, but building products. I'm actually a product manager with a background in user experience and in development. For me, Innovation Labs was the supporting pillar and the sandbox where I got to learn also, because I wanted to do user experience, customer discovery, product discovery, since I discovered design. Unfortunately, as also Innovation Labs was at the beginning, there were no products in Romania. There were no companies actually looking for product people or design people. They were looking for developers though. And all of the interviews which were actually called product design and so on, they were looking for developers. And therefore I did development just to do it because it's interesting, but it wasn't my place to be. And then I switched to doing design, to doing user experience, and then doing product. And this is how it fits with Innovation Labs. And maybe moving forward also to the future, I want to take everything that I've learned in my formal career and bring it back to Innovation Labs, just to make the program a bit more consistent. And maybe I will talk about that moving on, because that's the new thing for next year. And on the second part, what Innovation Labs means for the rest of the people, as I said, we did this study that was made by experts that actually interviewed, and this was ended in 2020, 2019. They did interviews with all of the alumni of the program, not only the guys that got in the program, but also the guys that were in the hackathon, just in the hackathon, the guys that got into demo day and all of the funnel. And what got out of there, and it was quite clear, was that we actually changed the vocabulary of those people, and we changed their career path in a way that goes more into leadership and product and leading in general, because they realize that they know now much more than just do the tech and listen to some requirements. And this is visible through their LinkedIn profiles, for example, compared to the others that didn't get into the hackathon. So we didn't compare apples with pears. We compared the people that actually got subscribed to the hackathon to the ones that got in the hackathon, then got in the program, went to the program, and so on. And we saw quite a huge difference. But it's not only about the participants in the program. It's also about all of the people that come in. And I'm going to give a very, not funny example, but overstretched example. We have the same photographer for 7 years. You know, we love him and he loves us. And he still comes, even though he photographed 7 of the same hackathons, you know, and he photographed 100 of the same people. He knows everyone, also from the companies and so on. We have the same videographer that we had in 2015. So, and that's very interesting because people stick around, and we don't just have collaborators. And it's also the same with where we print stuff, or where we, and this is the lowest point. You don't think of the people that bring you the balloons at the event. They're the same. They're pretty the same, and we talk with them quite closely. And if these people like the community so much and have met so much and have gotten so much out of the community, that's the same for the mentors and for the partners, because many of the mentors that are coming to events, they were part of Innovation Labs. So they were a startup in Innovation Labs and then got to be a manager or a product manager or a leader in the companies that are financing Innovation Labs. And we are quite close. So we have a lot of friends, and it's amazing to feel that you are not just part of an organization or a business. You are part of, I can call anyone to come and help me with something because we are in the same. They can also call me and we know each other. Still, I mean, the ecosystem was quite small when I joined. Now it's bigger, but it's still small. So I know a friend that knows a friend that definitely knows that person. So it is impossible that we don't all know each other. And another thing that got changed across the years, because we got so close, and so many of us so close, with so many of our collaborators and mentors, everyone is now seeing that. and it gets better and better and better. So I think it's an organic community growth. We never forced it. We can't force this sort of involvement anyhow. So yeah, they're just this is the impact that Innovation Labs has made. During this year, also due to the fact that me and Daniel took over, one of my goals was to get involved more to see how the journey of the startups actually looks like in the program, and how they are empowered to actually build their startup step by step. So I did a more thorough analysis over our workshops. We also have many workshops. So to support 74 startups, we need to have more, not more, we have the same workshop multiple times with also the teams in Cluj, Iași, and Timișoara, but also in Bucharest, because with 30 teams in Bucharest plus 10 in the online program that we just launched, we had to have 4 workshops per week. With different mentors, of course, but same content. And this is challenging because we need to adjust so that they all get the same value. And for the next year, we also have many mentors, many talented mentors that come, of course, out of their free time to actually support. And it's not just, of course, it's not just the mentors from the partners, but mentors out of the ecosystem that you just call, we have a workshop on business models. Are you joining, please? We have 4, you will be on Tuesday and so on. And next year, I actually have a framework that I usually use in my products to get to MVP or to get to minimum sellable product, so early stage, because I'm pretty focused into innovation and this sort of product discovery. And I want to take this framework and extend it a bit based on the curricula that they actually need, also from a legal perspective, from an IP perspective, from a market validation perspective, extend it a bit and try to make it a bit more fluid so that it's connected. And this is what I will plan to do after the demo day, see how we can adjust also our ways of holding the workshops, the mentors that come in, because we have very good mentors, they can teach everything. So we'll need to see how we involve them, how we do this also all across Romania, how we do this also for the online program. And another thing that we would like to change, we had a huge success with the online program. So there were very good teams coming out of the online program that now we supported out of the Bucharest resources. And we want to continue that. And we did for the first time an actual 2-day workshop. We hold it in Brașov. It was the center where they could meet from Constanța, Suceava, and so on. And we met there for 2 days to hold some of the workshops with them. And it went very well. So it went very well, and the feedback was extraordinarily positive. So we want to do more of that. So not just on top of doing our 2-3 hour workshops every week, we would like to have more of this weekend workshops where we tie everything together, work together, and give feedback to them directly on site. So that's what we want to change, and we will need to see also based on this framework how successful it is and how it changes the quality of the end MVPs. Because this is where we try to foster a lot. We have a lot in the curricula on customer development, product discovery, customer discovery, user research, and they have a lot of work to do there due to the fact that they come out of a university where you don't talk to anyone, and we ask them to talk to 10 customers, like now, until next week, and I need to see the interviews and what they told you about their work and so on, and they're not used to that. And then they realize, oh my God, my customers are actually doctors. We need to go to a hospital and talk to doctors and nurses. Yes, welcome to the real world where you build products for real people. And those real people, you need to know who they are and where they work, and they do work in a hospital. So they will use your app in a hospital. That was an actual push that we got in 2015 from the Romanian American Foundation. I mean, they didn't push us to do anything. We actually accepted. They were like, take our money and do this for the rest of the country, because you actually want to put a print over the educational system in Romania. We first started with the tech universities. So first partners were, of course, in the direction of tech universities. And the second center was in 2015 in Cluj. And then we grew more and more. So we went to Timișoara next, and then to Sibiu, and then to Iași. And then we grew with other universities that were nearby the centers, and we got now to 19 universities that are also veterinary medicine, and of course all of the biggest medicine schools in Romania, because we of course realized, we knew that before, you cannot build a startup just with developers about, for example, fintech or medtech, and we are trying to bring them closer. Now, what we saw when we opened up the other centers outside of Bucharest, we realized that it is a different world there, and we need to grow also there. So imagine 2015, that was the third year in Bucharest. We were anyhow still baby events. We had to support also Cluj, then we had the Timișoara, then we had the Sibiu, then we had the Iași. But I think the local communities embraced us quite well. So they wanted us to come there. And also the universities, this part that Răzvan started, and then Daniel continued, because Răzvan and Daniel, they're the academical side, and me and Andrei are the business side. So they did find the successors in their own shape, of course. And this academical part was supported by Răzvan. And from the moment that Innovation Labs was created, they also created a channel of ambassadors that were they were professors or assistants inside universities. And we put the same pattern in all of the universities that we partnered with. And therefore, we were able to actually take roots there, because we were part in all of the sites. This is why we are also trying to have local partners that support financially the program, because it is a local ecosystem, and they will, the local partners gain local visibility, but also national visibility through the whole program. And this is also what brought us to where we are now, the moment where we saw that also an online program plus maybe some offline visits would work, because we cannot open up centers everywhere. It is quite hard logistically to organize all of the hackathons, and we will bring the people either in Bucharest, either in Iași, either in Cluj, and of course we will support that financially. So we just we will take them there, just be there and do your thing, because many people outside of these big centers also want to get involved. So we are one step ahead. We went past actually trying to get accustomed to Cluj, Timișoara, and so on. We now want to go everywhere. So everywhere you are in Romania, you should hear of Innovation Labs and be able to come, form a team, form connections, do the networking. And at the end, of course, at the end of the program, we bring all of them in Bucharest, just because it is the capital. I think that's also a powerful message, that because everyone comes in demo day as absolutely equal in Innovation Labs. So and you will never know if we don't tell you as MCs on stage if a team is from Cluj or if a team is from Bucharest. And yeah, I think that's one of the key culture points that we put, that everyone can do their own thing, but at the end they get into the demo day and compete with against themselves with the rest of the Innovation Labs program. That's a very hard question, how we can work better together. The thing is, what I realized that is important, and I'm trying to also teach others also in our team, but all across, and also the teams, is that networking is very important. Communication is very important. Being able to communicate and go to events and be happy that you're going to events, not just go there for the sake of it, and actually talk with the people there. Follow them on LinkedIn, follow them on Instagram, support each other in different events, make sort of partnerships. I go to your events, you come to my events, I put you in my board, you call me to your event. It's and I think it's also a Romanian culture thing that we are together in this. So we need to work together. We will never stab each other's backs. This is why it was never a competition inside the Romanian ecosystem, because we supported each other and we are plug and play, let's say. So no one built another Innovation Labs. And we didn't try to build something else. We are still at the top of the, not top because we're a bit down of the funnel, and we are feeding into the rest of the ecosystem. And we are doing that through personal connections, actually. I wouldn't say that we have a complete process inside the Romanian ecosystem to actually pass on the information, but I think everyone in the ecosystem is doing their individual proactive job to help the others and get involved with the others. So if I see something is connected, if someone else sees in the ecosystem, we reach out. If everyone attends the demo days of the others or the meetings of the others, and I think that's the most important thing, to promote ourselves and to promote them to our teams. They promote us to the other teams. This is why we also, for example, reach out a lot to investors, and this is why we invited them to our board, because of course many startups very early stage come to them, and we want them to say, go to Innovation Labs first. And of course that's a partnership. And of course, it's a partnership that will benefit them as well, because after that, we'll maybe give them some startups to invest in, because we will grow them and we will invest in that. And to do things better, we need to be aware all of the time and up to date. And I think now it's quite easy to be up to date. And you have to have good intentions, let's say. Because of course now there's this flood of entrepreneurship. Everyone can become an entrepreneur. That is not true, you know. We know better. We need to have good intentions, and between ourselves we knew each other from a very long time. We know the newbies, and we know the newbies that want to do the good things or not. And this is like a real reality in all of the industries. So also in the training industry. There were some trainers at some point, it was going well, and now there are so many trainers, as there are programs that do this. And there's a huge difference between programs such as Innovation Labs, who never asked for a dime from participants, compared to others. But it's also a different viewpoint. We are educational. We want to be as a something on top over the educational system. We have different missions and values. But yes, it's one of the things that we can do best. Be aware, communicate all of the time, be part of, truly be part of the discussions, of the events, of the network, and support the others. And also Innovation Labs has done a lot of things in that direction. For example, in the demo days that we were discussing that were online, we made a whole center event moment where we invited someone from the community to talk about the communities and how the communities work together. And we did that also with interviews afterwards. So I think that's very, very important. There is a mentality that I think it's behind, and Andrei talked about the personality traits that it's actually a base. We also teach we have a workshop inside Innovation Labs about the process communication model. And there's a personality trait, it's called a promoter. People that do before thinking. Yes, those are the people that become entrepreneurs, and entrepreneur doesn't just mean that you build a startup. It's entrepreneurship all across your life, your career. And there are many people that went through Innovation Labs, or didn't, that build their own empires inside the corporate world or inside something else. And it's just a mentality that you have, and a power to move on and to move on across all odds. And I was a bit talking about taking risks, looking at problems into ways of fixing it. I think also that is one of the things. And another thing that personally I think that various founders, co-founders have is this way of being so passionate about what they are doing that they drag people with them. So you see those people, maybe they're not the best leaders or managers or read I don't know how many books about leadership, but they have this magic around them. And you follow them because you feel like they're to be followed. Maybe you don't believe in the idea, but you hear them talk about their idea. This is why pitching is so important. And then you just follow them. And this is also one of the things that I saw a lot into the people that went through Innovation Labs. From their first speech, where some people cry actually, and you need to take their hand and say, no, 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 tell the pitch to me. This happened a lot during Innovation Labs. And then they got onto the stage and there were different people, you know. We have a lot of pitching lessons and so on, but no pitching lesson can teach you to be confident. So, and they became confident because they had to become leaders. They loved their idea. They wanted to push it forward, and everyone was telling them, you need to do a good pitch. And therefore they went there. And I think this is unique, and this is what you need to be an entrepreneur. The power to not make other people follow you, but the power to be influential and to be to be followed, and to do stuff, because we also tell them, everyone is like in our events, I won't tell you my idea because you will steal it. That is a mentality. That is a very interesting mentality. We are trying to get that out of people, because it's like, you know, I heard hundreds of ideas, not hundreds, I think more than hundreds. I never stole anyone. I cannot implement all of them, and I won't steal yours because it's idea stage. You need to put your hands on it and actually make it, you know, because just having a deck, it's not enough. You need to also build it. So do it. So this promoter score and so on, I think it works quite well. But maybe just the final thing, also in Innovation Labs, in the team, of course, we all finished, not all, but 90% finished automatics and computer science. But we are all different. So we have different personality traits, because you do need many personality traits in the team to actually succeed. You cannot just do with promoters. It's horrible. For example, I'm a promoter and Andrei is a promoter. When we meet, just the two of us, we don't talk about it, we do stuff. So it's like you need to have all this kind of people, and now we have 11 people in the core team, which bring different things to the table. Of course, we have many thinkers, but we also have empathy harmonizers that actually think, Flavia, you cannot tell that, or Daniel, because I usually don't do this. You cannot tell that to the teams, Daniel. Just tell it in a different way. And then she rephrases all of the messages of Daniel just to sound a bit more empathetic. But that's so useful because otherwise they, of course, we wouldn't have that maybe. So that's very important, and that's also for founders, co-founders, and their teams, their initial teams. And if you don't have that, you'll stay behind. So you'll lack. I don't think innovation labs wouldn't have existed, because innovation labs came in from a need. So basically, Andrei and Răzvan saw a need and they fixed it. Someone at some point would have seen that need anyhow. Maybe it would have been built something else, looked a bit different. But still, it's the way of working in the world. And if we look at where Romania is with our ecosystem, which is very beautiful and different, but it's not that different. Everyone was in this, every big ecosystems, we're in this stage. It is different from the way that, yes, we are in Romania, we are Latin, let's say, we are a previously communist country. Okay, that makes us different. But otherwise, building a startup, building a product, it is the same. Maybe it is harder for us in Romania, and that makes us more resilient, more involved. But I don't think there is parallel universe in Romania where a program like Innovation Labs wouldn't have been born. Maybe it would have been later, maybe different, maybe smaller, maybe started in Cluj, I don't know. But someone will have done that at some point. So, and because without it, that need would have become so pressuring, and that's impossible. So when a need becomes so big, someone will fix it. So there will be a promoter going to solve that problem. I think this is also why the other parts of the ecosystem grew, due to other needs that came on top. So, okay, there was Innovation Labs, okay, there was Tech Angels afterwards, but everyone built up on top of needs that actually came in. Also us, like Innovation Labs, we realized a problem, the fact that students are not coming in, or they are not actually continuing or getting involved due to the fact that parents told them that this is not the way. We tried to fix that problem, and we're still trying to fix it. So different needs, different problems coming in out of this growth that we are having. So I see no world without Innovation Labs, to be very frank. I think the ecosystem actually grew exponentially in the last years, and it will continue to do so. And I believe that we are on a very good trend to becoming not huge, because we are far from Silicon Valley or Israel and so on, but we will be having a say due to the fact that we come out of, tech services in Romania have been there for quite a while, and also those have grown a lot. But what I realized also in the company where I'm working on is this freedom now to build products end to end in Romania. And I think this is essential for our ecosystem, because people, even though they don't come to Innovation Labs, or they don't want to be part of a startup when they exit university, they go to one of these companies that actually are building products end to end. They do have a say, as we're talking about the how and the why. Developers usually are involved, or developers were before just involved in the how. You need to do the tech, we tell you what to do. Now they know the why. They're part of user interviews. They do see the name product manager under a Romanian name, which is something that brings us closer to creating entrepreneurs. because they see that it is possible. It is possible also in the corporate career to learn how to build end-to-end products. And we are getting there because, of course, a lot of companies came into Romania to gather development resources, but they also found very other good resources. And the developers from yesterday, let's say me, became product managers, and there are many of this kind. So I think that will take our ecosystem of startups into a new era, when we will have much more prepared people to do the startups, with many opportunities and a word to say also previously in their companies, their teams, and so on. And all of the roles that now appear also for young graduates of the universities are much more complex, not just software engineer. So this will help us. And yeah, this exponential growth, it's also because of the buzz and the media buzz, and it is cool now to have a startup, and it is always good to be part of a thing that is cool. So Innovation Labs becomes cool, which is not something that it was before. We weren't cool, you know, we were a startup program trying to teach you how to make a business. Doesn't sound cool. Now we are making you an entrepreneur. Maybe you become a billionaire, millionaire, and so on. Now it's cool. So, and also this, and media, it's a big part of that. As I said, for a youngster to get on stage and pitch their business idea, their startup idea, their tech startup idea, and to represent a team of 4, 5, 7 people, that's cool. But imagine how cool it is to be in an article online and give the link on WhatsApp to your grandma. I mean, that's amazing. Who does that? You know, now this has become cool. And yeah, I'm glad that we are part of the cool side of the ecosystem of Romania, let's say. So. With the concept of startups, maybe not call them startups, but business owners, it was from my father. So actually my father is a dentist, but he has his own, his own cabinet, whatever, dentist cabinet. So I knew that there are a lot of business owners. Then when I got into tech, of course, I heard that they're called startups. But for my parents, actually, so I started with development, looked quite good. They were like, oh, she's gonna be a developer, super fine, super safe. And then I was like, I wanna do design. Do you really? And yes, I do really. But is it okay? It's totally okay, Mom. I mean, I'm gonna try to switch gradually. She didn't get anything. So, I mean, they're very nice and very smart people, but they're doctors. So, you know, it's interesting to talk to them, and my whole childhood was surrounded by doctors. But yeah, I'm totally from a different standpoint. It took them a while to understand what Innovation Labs is. My parents, my grandparents, took a longer while. I don't think they get it yet because it's so different than what it was before. This is something that is so new, so inexistent back in the days that it's very hard to grasp. Why would you do that? Why would you do a program such as that? Why? So why do those people need help? They're developers. They can do their own job. No, it's an ecosystem. What ecosystem? No ecosystem. Okay. But yes, I think my parents have built me in a way to try a lot of things. This is why I also did try to do HR, try to do marketing, try to do communication, PR, branding, graphic design, UX, development, and so on. And I didn't always tell them that I'm going to take a risk, move forward, try to move laterally, try to fight someone to get a different job or a different position or a different role, and so on. But at the end, I think now it all makes sense because product managers come from different backgrounds and they need to wear many hats. There was a keynote that I had a few weeks back where I tried to explain product management in a different way than wearing many hats, because that's so, it's building many lenses through which you see the world. And I think this is also what a founder needs to do, because you need to be a leader, you need to also lead marketing, you need to lead sales, pre-sales, you need to understand product discovery, you need to work with designers, with developers, and with clients. You also need to pitch your idea, you need to get people inside your team, you also need to explain your mom what you do. So therefore you have all of these different lenses that you switch in order to talk to the world about your product and to explain how to move it forward. And yeah, that's quite beautiful to actually understand that all of those lenses, and to explain that, because I also told this to my mother and she was like, will these people understand what you're saying? Because even in Romanian, it sounds very complicated. And I was like, yeah, mom, I'm putting like images with lenses. And my mom was like, yeah, sure. Yeah, they will never understand. But I think all of the switches in a person's career and all of the decisions that you takes you to actually being an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur in tech means you are being a product manager. So the CEO of a product is the product manager. Actually, I've always worked for companies abroad, so huge companies as well, corporate companies. I wanted to try this out anyhow, so this is why I kept Innovation Labs as my hobby. That's my hobby, which I always say I work 8 hours for a corporate company and then the rest of the day for Innovation Labs, because I never know when I work for Innovation Labs. I never wanted to leave Romania. Also, when I thought to go to university in another country, I did have the scores. I was quite a bookworm when I was little, so I had the scores to go anywhere. I never wanted to leave because I'm quite a social person and I always had friends, and I always liked my Romanian friends. I also like my foreign friends, but yeah, and I traveled a lot also with my job. So at the base, I started as a consultant building products for clients, and I traveled a lot to all across, especially to Germany, Switzerland, so there's these countries, and worked a lot there, but I never wanted to move. So I like Romania, I like Romanians, I like what we can do, and I like my team, for example. I have in Innovation Labs, there's the team, our core team of 10 people, but also on my other hobby, hobby job, I have 40 people. And I like them. I like to work with them, and I think that here we can make it end to end. So, and I saw a lot of people grow, and I met them. So why leave? We have a lot to build here. If you go to a more developed country, you don't have what to build. It's already built. It's boring, you know. Those guys don't have problems to solve. We have bigger problems that they don't understand. And this is, I think, a very important piece of valuable thing that we have. You know, we have problems here. We need to solve them, and therefore we are equipped as an ecosystem to solve problems, do stuff without money, for example, do a promo campaign without money. How do you do that? You don't do it usually. So if you are in the US, maybe you won't do it at all because we don't have money. But here we find ways to do it. We call 3 people, you know, what do you think? Do you think? So, and I think that's very nice, and it makes us special in a good way, special in a good way, us from the ecosystem and what we built. So we just switched our roles last year at the gala when me and Daniel took over the leadership positions. We also took our focus roles, as in I'm Chief Innovation Officer and he's Chief Growth Officer. And that's for a reason, because I'm the lady with ideas and he's the guy with the let's grow the idea. So but I had the role of communications and brand director for quite a while. And I also had to pass that over, of course, to a younger generation, quite young. So she's like 23 years old. I think I was also 23 years old when I came in, so that fits perfectly. Because things are changing, and this is what I want to do with the program. And I think this is the whole idea behind all of these ideas. We look at what is happening, how things are changing. Also, of course, at the we work with hundreds of different people every year, and therefore we need to adapt. And I think it is important to move on. And not only move on in terms of move on with the program, but also move on with yourself. I need to stop ordering the balloons, because I did the ordering of the balloons so many times, and so many times I had to pick them up and so on. We also had a time when we made the balloons ourselves. It was horrible, but now we get the balloons. And I think that I did as much as I could in my role, as did Andrei and Răzvan, and this is a great lesson for the ecosystem and for us in general. For example, now making a parallel, my mother said, "They're giving you the role of the co-founder? Wow, these guys are amazing. They're great leaders." And I was like, "Yes, Mom, we are looking at the US. We need to understand how it works. This is how it works." And she was like, "Yeah, they're a real example of how things should work, because they can move on. They did so many things, and 10 years was a benchmark. And now they're actually giving back." Of course, they're not leaving anywhere. They're still the fathers. They cannot leave. But we grew enough. We're not 18, but we're 10 years old, and we've proven that we can do that. But we will make it different, of course. And this is also what me and Daniel are doing with the juniors in our team. We are letting them lead their own subjects as we had the chance. So yeah, and this is why we see so many changes. But for me, as brand and communication director, and what was my role there, we started quite small from a brand and communication perspective. Innovation Labs wasn't that visible. And my goal was to make it visible, to make it the most visible. And I got there. Now let's see what Carmen has to do with it, because she's the new generation doing the new stuff and having the new ideas and having the new brand in mind. So that's gonna be interesting to see how it changes. And yeah, that's the growth of the team, and the growth of the program, and the role, and the team in general, because we were a small team. We were like 4 people when I joined. So not 4, 5. We also had a guy that did the website. So it was me, Daniel, and Andrei, and the guy that did the website and the graphics and so on. So yeah, now we grew to, I think overall in Innovation Labs, the organizers team reaches 40, 45 in total. And we have the ambassadors, which is a whole network that is huge. So in all universities. So now we are collaborating with a lot of people in the same time, doing, making Innovation Labs real and we are still growing. So we grow with also universities. We still have universities in the backlog, and many cities to get on board. So we hope at some point that we won't have the space in the press release to put all of the cities, and we will say all Romania, because we already cover so many that it doesn't matter where you are from.